We live? This thing on,
Yeah.
Nicholas?
Hell yeah,
Testing,
we are.
testy, 1 2 1 2. I'm not testy. I'm in a good mood today, Nicholas.
Yeah, you are. You better be.
I am fired up. I am full of Skittles and honey roasted peanuts.
Oh,
And people are going to hear that and go, what? The fuck you just say? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listeners of all ages, TLDR Studios proudly presents to you the greatest, the bestest, the Hall of Famiest podcasting team in the world. He's a comic book writer, Nick Frider. I'm your friendly neighborhood backcracker, Dr. Joe. And together we are the TLDR Comic Book Club, baby. Was that on purpose, Nicholas, or was that an accident?
that was on purpose.
You're damn right it was.
Yeah,
Because I nailed it earlier.
Yeah, yes, you
Right?
did. You did
If
nail
you
it.
know, if you know, you know.
Well, I'm gonna tell people now because we have it in the can. We have it saved, so we can let the people know. The reason, if you're watching us on YouTube and you're wondering why the fuck were these guys so goddamn late, or maybe you're over on Instagram, maybe you're on Twitter as well. I don't know, but if you're wondering why our stream was later than usual, that's because we were recording a little Friar Side Chat, the first one of 2025. And Joe, I will let you have the honors and tell the people who we chatted with.
It was a massive one, baby. It was a big one. It's now 3-time guest of the podcast, Kyle Higgins. Talked all things Radiant Black, all things Massiverse, all things Rebuild era, the new era of the Massiverse, and especially in regards to Radiant Black after the events of the Catalyst War. So if you've listened to this program at all over the past several years, you know I've been on Radiant Black since day one. One. And we're now several years in. And if you haven't been reading Radiant Black, 1, why the hell not? 2, you've got time to run to your local comic book shops. Now, you have until February 3rd, if I'm correct, to put Radiant Black on your pull list. You can go to the Black Market Narrative webpage, I believe, and buy the previous trade volumes at a discounted rate and get all caught up if you are looking to do so. Or you can start fresh if you're so inclined and go from there. So we had a great chat with Kyle. And I really do. I can't express enough. If you're a comics fan, if you're a superhero fan, Radiant Black is something you must be reading.
And we talk about with Kyle a lot, especially with no one, it was like on steroids to continue the baseball theme. By the way, I want everybody to know real quick before we talk more about Kyle, I did lobby to Joe to rename the podcast the King Felix Hernandez Club. He does not want to do that, but I just want to say justice for King Felix. What the fuck?
Hashtag justice for King Felix. He should have been.
Thank you. I'm gonna. I'm writing an article on it. I want everybody to know that, and I'm gonna use that in the fucking tweet. I'm gonna say hashtag justice for King Felix.
Yeah,
that just made my night. But with Kyle, he does like we've seen different creators emerge and kind of have their trademarks and how they're impacting the industry beyond the awesome stories that they're telling. And one thing that Kyle has done is he has taken everything he does with comics and then amplified it. He takes all these cool things and he's like, well, let's add this and let's pull this from other mediums. And with no one, that was the example of like steroids, like where he went and he had like fake news articles that went along with this story. He had the podcasts that we've raved about up and down. They have the feature film that's coming. He did all of that. And of course, it's appropriate when he's on with us. He gave us a ton of visual stuff. Now, you guys know, anybody who's new, if everybody's new to the program, you can only get our Friar Side Chats in audio form. So that's on Apple, Spotify, Geeks Worldwide Radio, Amazon. You can only get it in audio form. Make sure when you go and subscribe, because that way you'll get all the episodes delivered right to your listening device, nice and easy. Make sure you leave a 5-star rating and review. Otherwise, you're going to learn the real meaning of backcracker. But Kyle gave us a ton of visual stuff that was friggin' awesome, and he expounded upon it all. Now, I will say you'll be able to listen and be fine, like not necessarily knowing some of those details because there's so much that goes with these characters. But we're going to be putting some stuff up over on our YouTube page. We'll probably put it on Instagram and maybe on Blue Sky as well. but some of that conversation with Kyle, a little more than we normally do with our Friar Side Chats, where it's just a little teaser, because we want you guys to have access to some of these visuals, to these new characters, to these covers, all this different shit that Kyle showed us. And Kyle told us it's totally cool. So we'll be putting it out there for you guys to see. So if you're listening to the episode and you're like, what the fuck are they talking about? Or I really wish I could see what this character looks like or whatever, we're going to have it on our YouTube page. So we're going to get that stuff out there for you guys. So make sure you're subscribed there. Make sure you're checking it out. It won't be all at once, but we'll be leaking that out after the interview drops for sure. But that is why we're not doing a mainline episode this week. For those new to the program, whenever we do an interview, we just drop what's new, because we always got to be talking about all the books that are coming out on a week-to-week basis, and we're always doing that in video and audio form. Joe, before we get rolling on what's new this week, and there are a lot of books for us to dig into, you caught up on a little bit. I got nothing to add here, but what have you been catching up on?
Well, we are at the time of recording this, it's just shy of New Comic Book Day. So January is not yet over, Nicholas, and I'm already on a really good pace for 1,000 books this year.
Ooh.
I've read 74 comics in the month of January.
74? You just texted me the other day and you said you're at 50 something. What the hell happened?
I'll tell you what happened. Solo leveling.
Ooh.
And Saga. I caught up on Saga.
Nice.
But no, I've been doing a lot of reading. And I think the clip I have to read is roughly 82 to 84 books a month to hit 1,000.
Oh, you can do that.
It's like 83.3, right? 1,000 divided by 12 is 83 point or something like that.
You got to mix in some trades, mix in, like the Sacrificers and Rook Exodus and every bird book.
Well, I do have a bunch of trades that I've queued up on my Hoopla. Nice. But anyways, I mentioned I caught up on Saga, right? I've been purposely not reading those because, like, Saga to me, just the only way to consume it is volume by volume by volume. So I caught up on issues 68 through 71. But a book that good pal of the show, Christopher Scheim, turned me on to. It's a South Korean comic, so it's not Japanese manga, right? So manga traditionally is read sort of, it's in black and white, and it's sort of read right to left, whereas with I believe it's pronounced mangua.
I think you're right. Yeah.
And that's more of it reads as more of your traditional graphic novel. It's in color. You read it like you would, in an American comic book. And it follows the story of Jin Woo, who is a hunter. So there's a certain population that has sort of been empowered with special abilities. And these hunters are people who get paid to go into dungeons and such and rid them of monsters. And that's how they get paid. They're sort of like monster bounty hunters. Well, Jin Woo is known as the world's weakest hunter. And he starts off, he's this very just sort of, feeble, neurotic, just, and his intent's good, but he just sucks. And he's what's known as an E rank hunter, which means that's the lowest of the low. And he somehow finds a way to come near death every time he goes in these low level caves, because your rank depends on which caves you can enter and just how dangerous they'll be. And then something happens to him during one of these hunts where, it's not his physical abilities that helps sort of save the day. It's sort of his quick thinking, and something happens to him. And all of a sudden he's sort of living this real life role-playing game where he is constantly having to do tasks where there's like this HUD, right? This heads up display, and only he can see, that's saying you've got to do this task, you got to do these tasks by the end of the day, or you have to go to a penalty level and do this, right, in order to, move on to the next day, sort of thing. And as he does it, he ranks up, he levels up, hence the name solo leveling. And right now I'm in I just picked up the 3rd volume today.
Ooh,
right.
You're in.
So I am in it. I am flying through, and now he's just so badass. It's awesome. So solo leveling, I can't recommend this enough. So if you've tried reading manga before and you can't quite get into it because you've got to read it differently, or because it's in black and white, or it's just not your thing, and you do like more traditional style, like comics, then this is something that's going to be right up your alley. I can't, like I said, I can't recommend it enough. It's fantastic.
There's some cool mangas that we have checked out before, but I will say, like, it's just, I mean, it's how we were taught from a young age. Like, just this is how you read. Like, I can't help but think like I would be more feel a little more comfortable checking out some manhwa stuff. At
I'll
some
let you borrow my copies
Okay,
next time I see you. I'll give you what I've got, and because I think you would love it. It's fantastic.
it looks awesome.
It's like reading a video game, right? But like he's the only one that's it's like it's
Yeah,
meta, but it's really awesome,
we
and
need
it
to see
reads
if Shime
fast
can.
too.
We need to see if Shime can give us some other recommendations
Hmm.
to maybe do some manhwa stuff. I don't know if I'm saying it right. It's spelt with it spelt that way.
Yeah, yeah.
But if we could maybe do some of that on the show at some point down the line too. Awesome, cool, good stuff. Now, so you caught up on that, or we're working through that. You're caught up on Saga. That's it, right? We're ready to get into the new releases for this.
Let's dive in. There was a lot of them this week, baby.
Oh yeah, what do you got for me from Marvel?
So from Marvel, the week of 12125, we have The Amazing Spider-Man issue 66, Uncanny X-Men issue 9, Fantastic Four issue 28, Wolverine Revenge, both the regular and the Red Band edition, issue 4, Iron Man issue 4, Phoenix issue 7, Scarlet Witch issue 8, Mystique issue 4, Blade Red Band issue 4, TVA issue 2, Wolverine issue 2. I didn't get a chance to read that one. I am dying to read it.
It's awesome.
The Battle of Jakku Last Stand issue 4, Ultraman and Avengers issue 4, Kid Venom issue 4, Doctor Doom and Rocket Raccoon issue 1. This is written by J. Michael Straczynski.
Oh
And
yeah.
we have X-Men Xavier's Secret issue 1. This written by Alex Packnadel. And then we have What If Galactus Transformed Rogue issue 1, which I believe you said you were, mildly curious of.
I haven't checked any of these out yet, but I obviously we have the review copies that are sitting there. I'm going to make a point to check these out because they had Gambit, Moon Knight, and Rogue. It was legitimately like, hey Nick, why don't you fucking check this shit out? Like Marvel's like directing these to me,
Right.
so I don't know. I have to do it.
Yeah, so you do that because I won't. But the book I do want to discuss is Ultimate Spider-Man issue 13. Now, I talked about Ultimate Spider-Man on the last mainline issue that we did, 107, I believe. And that was the last issue. Issue 12 was sort of it was a nice, fun little holiday issue, but a lot of major implications, right? Peter Parker and Harry Osborn have gone missing. And there's a very unique thing going on with Peter Parker at home that his family just sort of finally catches on to, where we find Peter Parker and Harry Osborn is in the clutches of Kraven the Hunter as part of the Ultimates version of its iteration of the Sinister Six. And what we get in this issue is some of what's the most dangerous game, if you will. So if you know anything about Kraven the Hunter, you know what he likes to do, and the situation that Peter and Harry find themselves in makes for a really great issue. So if you listen to the last mainline issue and you're like, yeah, I got to read that, get caught up on Ultimate Spider-Man, because this issue was fantastic. The series is fantastic, and like I said, I can't. This is, I think, my favorite Spider-Man story, in a while, right? I'm a big fan of Chip's Spider-Man life story, but this one, like, for me, this is like really, really good. Really, it's good shit, Nicholas.
I'm hung up on the Craven stuff because it's like he loves to befriend animals, right? That's his thing. That's what he really likes to do is take care of the animals. He
Yes,
doesn't
yes, he's
hunt
like a
them or anything.
Dr. Doolittle, if you
Yeah,
will.
I haven't seen that. I'm sure I will at some point when it's free somewhere. I will not. I'm not watching it. It's that was honestly like I don't know what was dumber between that and Morbius. Like I mean, Madam Web's also dumb in terms of concept. That was awful in terms of execution. But
I've got notice, and now I do have a desire to go back. I've still never seen any of the Venom movies. Those I'll go back and rewatch.
Never seen any. Oh, that's surprising. I haven't seen the third one yet. I haven't seen the
Well,
third
and
one.
it's because of the third, because I heard the third one was actually fairly decent, right?
Yeah,
And I've
well,
heard the
it's got
first two are fine, right?
because you
But
got
I've got no
Stegman
desire to.
creation in there. That's why.
That's right. But I've got no desire to see Craven or Madam Web or the
Morbius.
Morbius. Oh,
Yeah.
God.
But,
Ugh.
uh,
Blah.
it's yeah, they're just I do kind of want to see Craven because I just want to see how bad it is, but like it's yeah, we don't need to waste more time on that. Moving over to DC, and by the way, I'm excited I can finally fucking read Ultimate Spider-Man. Because I've been sitting on the sideline waiting to check this thing out while everybody's loving it. It's like the can't miss book of the fucking year, and Nick's just holding his fucking thumb over here, just stupid. Anyways, DC this week we got Detective Comics 1093. Superman issue 22. Both of those books Joe is reading. Justice League Unlimited issue 3. Green Arrow issue 20, which I am reading. The Flash issue 17. Harley Quinn issue 47. Black Canary Best of the Best issue 3. I'm actually a little behind on this one, but I really enjoyed that first issue. Power Girl issue 17. Metamorpho The Element Man issue 2. DC Horror Presents issue 4. Batman Wayne Family Adventures issue 148. And Little Batman month 1 issue 3. And then Joe, the best absolute title there is at DC from the All In effort,
Without a doubt.
Absolute Wonder Woman issue 4. Kelly Thompson, Hayden Sherman. We talked about it after the second issue. We loved it. The third issue also outstanding. The fourth issue, I think it was also outstanding, but I do think number 3 is still the best issue that we've gotten so far. For me, what I loved about number 4 is it highlights Wonder Woman's personality in this like absolute alternate reality, and what a delight. Like there's so much different shit about this character that I didn't expect. Like she gets flipped on her head in so many different ways, and it's made her badass. It's made her direct, and it's heightened some stuff with her that maybe we've gotten like small glimpses at before, or maybe never seen with the character before. But then it's like, what a good person Diana is. Like she just where she's like, to the point and whatnot, and doesn't suffer fools in this absolute world. She's still like, hey, if you're a good person, I'm going to take care of you. I'm still going to be kind to you. I'm going to be patient with you. I'm going to try and lift you up and make you feel good, even about the smallest things. I am so glad how that is still very much present in her. The one thing that you're keeping of all the things, it couldn't have been a better choice by Kelly Thompson. Again, we love Absolute Wonder Woman. We cannot praise it enough.
Well, all the choices they've made, right? Especially on the artistic side, right? And the weapon she wields,
Oh, so
right?
cool.
I thought had such an awesome look to it, and with each panel, how it changed, right? And it was so good. The the lasso, right, that she wielded in the first two. Like it's just everything about it aesthetically has been tremendous. Storytelling has been tremendous, and I think the thing about all these absolute titles so far, the 3 that we've gotten, is they're so radically different, right, from their canon counterparts, but there's just the right essence, the right elements from each character still imbibed into each of
Yeah.
them, right?
Yeah.
Which gives you that familiarity, so it doesn't feel like you're being too far removed from who the character is supposed to be, even though the setting and the tone is wildly different. Which is why I think the absolute all-in initiative has been a home run so far.
Yeah, it really
Right?
has. We have both now have it ranked at did I don't I'm not sure on Batman and Superman because I had Batman at number 2 and Superman at number 3. You had the flip flop of that. We both have Wonder Woman at the top. I don't think I've changed my rankings just yet, but we're on like we like all 3 of them. It really has been an amazing success. And if someone else came to me and said like Wonder Woman's my 3, I still like it, but then like Superman's been my absolute favorite, I wouldn't look at you weird. Like
I won't argue anyone like on how they rank these books, right? Because I think it's it's not like I will say this to me, Wonder Woman is head and shoulders the cream of the crop, right?
we're in agreement.
Uh, Well, and I'll say this too. Like, I've been pretty steadfast, and like, yeah, Batman has been my third favorite book of the series, which is not a knock on it at all. I will say the last issue of Absolute Batman was outstanding. That was my favorite issue of that series yet. That might have closed the gap a little bit with Superman, for
Mm,
me, that issue. Um, but still, I mean, you can't go wrong if someone's going to say, "Oh, I love Absolute Batman and Wonder Woman's," not my favorite. Okay, I could see that. I guess
yeah.
I think they're all really good, and you really can't miss reading any one of them.
Yeah, you can't go wrong. You cannot go wrong. If you're asking Joe and I, though, we would tell you if you can only pick one, Absolute Wonder Woman is going to be our pick in all of this. We move over to Boom, Joe. What do we got from them this week?
So from Boom Studios, we have House of Slaughter issue 29. That's another reason why I've read so many books this month. I caught up on a
Mm,
significant amount of House of Slaughter. Where I'm glad I did because I've really been digging this last arc.
you found out
Um,
you're an Azure mask too. That's
yeah, I
cool.
love it. It's awesome. That's the coolest fucking thing that's come out of this entire House of Slaughter series. I think is that house. I love it.
Ooh.
Power Rangers Prime issue 3. Um, two other wild books before this one that I want to dive into. Lawful issue 7, the penultimate issue of that. It's an eight issue series, and holy cow, this was a very powerful issue in what has been a really powerful series. And then In Bloom issue 2. Did you read In Bloom yet?
No, I'm trying to like who
In
writes those
Bloom is
books?
the one. The writers are
Oh, that's John J. Pearson's the artist on that. Yes,
yes,
you
yes,
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 yes.
yes, yes. Oh, I forgot about fucking In
Read
Bloom.
this one,
Yeah.
Nicholas. It is effing crackers.
Oh
But the
boy.
book from Boom that I want to discuss this week, and you want to talk about effing crackers, another one you didn't get a chance to read yet, Nicholas. Vicarious, issue 4, written by Ryan Parrott. Holy shit. This book was, I mean, this has been a wild series to begin with. This was the most wild issue yet. Now, we're our main character. What's our main character's name there?
Oh fuck, dude. I don't remember.
I'm sundowning. But anyways, like where we found him at the end of the third issue was in a very not a good place,
Yeah,
not a real
no.
place, right? He sort of he helped put himself there, but he was double crossed big time. He was double crossed big time. So this issue focuses on him getting his revenge. But not only does he go on a fucking rampage, Nicholas, but we get some more of the backstory. We get some of those loose ends that we got sort of at the end of the first and into the second issue regarding his roommate and things like that. We get some of those threads
Ooh.
pulled together,
Ooh.
and we get what I think was really nuts too is like we get more of his backstory, right? And like, oh, all the pieces really start to fall into place with this issue and really takes an absolutely wild turn. So Vicarious, people, there's a lot of great books that are out this week, right? We talked about how great Supermassive was. We talked about how great Wonder Woman's been. We talked about how great Ultimate Spider-Man has been, right? House of Slaughter, Lawful, In Bloom, Detective Comics, this is a killer week for comics, people. And Vicarious is on top of that list of awesome books that have dropped this week. And we still have a
Yeah.
bunch more to talk about.
There's like this was there are some weeks where you have more stuff coming out than I do, and sometimes where vice versa. There are definitely some weeks where we're both thin. But this is a fucking huge week for comics. It's insane. We look over at Dark Horse. We got Arcbound issue 3, which you are reading. We have Black Hammer Spiral City issue 3, and then the Magic Order, the 5th volume of that, issue 4 is also of that for that this week. And holy shit, that was friggin' bananas. And then we go over to Mad Cave, and we got a ton there too.
Holy smokes, Nicholas. Mad Cave, Doc, and Nix, publisher of the year for the year 2024. They had a hell of a week. Gotcha Men, issue 6, that's written by Cullen Bunn. The Body Trade, issue 4. This is another book I can't wait to discuss on the program, Nicholas. This is, again, I talked about how Lawful was a very powerful issue, and it's been a very powerful series. The same, can be said for The Body Trade. This has been a very gut-wrenching series, and this is a very gut-wrenching, but also very satisfying issue. We have Spectrum, issue 2, Prairie Gods, issue 4, which I believe you're reading. Revolution, Revolution 9, issue 3, Synap, issue 2. Are you reading Synap?
No, not.
Okay, because like I feel like the first issue came out a little bit ago. Because like Synap.
I thought I had checked it. I think I was gonna check it out, or maybe I did and I didn't do it for me. I can't remember.
Yeah, I know I've read it because I've got it. So, anyways, so Synap, I didn't get a chance to read that one yet. Soul Taker, issue 6, Hour of the Wolf, issue 3. This is another one of those Ghost Machine, right?
That's
not
it.
Ghost Machine.
I actually Underworld.
Yes, the Mark London universe.
Yes, Mark London. Yes,
yeah. Jesus, Joseph. We're going to talk about Hyde Street, That came out this week. I'm getting my universes mixed up. But Hour of the Wolf, again, another crackers issue. But I think the book that takes the cake from Mad Cave this week, Nicholas, is The Hexiles.
Yeah, third issue of that is out this week, written, of course, by friend of the show, Cullen Bunn, art by Joe Picardo, who actually, when we talk about breakout creators, Joe Picardo is another one who I think with where we do our awards and with when Hexiles came out, it wasn't an ideal spot for him, but he deserves to be in that kind of conversation as well. But as it goes with the first issue, we knew that Jameson Creel was not a great guy in general, but throughout the first couple issues, we were more so told that he was a bad guy. That we didn't really see how he's a bad guy. Obviously, we saw the impact on what he did to his kids. That's terrible. We basically like sold, their souls to demons. Like obviously, that is just an objectively not a great thing. Crazy, I know, but not a great thing. But in this issue, we get to really see and experience just how much of a dick he is, because it extends beyond selling his children's soul. And to me, the first two issues moved at this breakneck pace. I feel like this was a little bit more even pace, but the explanation that we get is so good and enriches the story so much. This might be my favorite issue of the series, but I feel like I could have said that about the second one after I read that, and then the first one was just such a fucking outstanding opener.
What an effing prick, right? Right. And when you read it, you'll understand. And I'll tell you, I like on one hand, you expect it, but on the other hand, and this is, and I don't know if this was from direction from Cullen or this was Joe Picardo saying, "Oh, I really know how to like up the prick factor on this moment." It's the way he draws the main character's face.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And it's that wry smile that he delivers when you get these sort of panels there that makes you just go, fucking asshole. He said that,
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. Like that really, like, it's that subtlety that I love that artists, whether it's their own initiative or whether it comes from direction from the writer, but like, it's those little things that just add right to the panel, to the scene, to the story, and it was just executed so well.
Yeah, if quite honestly, if we don't get more of the Hexiles beyond this first arc, I understand if Cullen had plans for like, hey, I'm just writing this one story and that's it. Like that's fine, I get it. Like, but I don't know, man. I feel like there's got to be ways where he could dig into the well more with these characters, with Jameson Creel, find a way to go beyond a second issue. I hope the sales reflect how fucking good this story is, because we like this story deserves all the fucking attention that we've been giving it. It seriously, it is like, and with this issue, it's like Jameson Creel like looked at John Constantine and said, "Hold my beer." Like, get the fuck out of here. Who are you?
Oh,
like
he makes Constantine look like a goddamn saint.
Yeah, he really does. Yep. 100%. It's so
It's
good.
the only
love it.
unfortunate thing I'll say, Nicholas, is that it's a shame that one of us didn't take dibs, because this would have been a perfect spooky season book.
Yeah, it would have been. I forget what happened. I forget what happened why we didn't do it because we had to really look at it. Maybe that was why we ended up doing that. But
Yeah.
anyways, moving on. From IDW, we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Night Watcher issue 5, Star Trek issue 28, Godzilla's Monsterpiece Theater issue 3, Sonic the Hedgehog Best of Shadow issue 1. I might just get that as a collectible, honestly.
I'll
And
tell
then
you, the third movie, Nicholas, dynamite.
yeah, I gotta see it. TMNT. I still gotta see the second one. Like I told you last time, it hasn't changed. TMNT Best of Nobody issue 1. This is definitely one thing where I'm like, I don't. This is my TMNT knowledge. This is where like it stops. I don't know what you're
Yeah,
talking
there's a
about.
line of demarcation, and it's
Yeah,
that guy right
yeah,
there.
it's Nobody. But we do have another TMNT title that came out this week that we've been waiting for a little while on the second issue of TMNT Naruto, Joe. I loved it. How did you feel about it?
Oh, I loved it, and I think I told you this got me to start watching Naruto
Yeah, yeah.
on Netflix, which is um I love it. I'm moving at a snail's pace only because, like, when I watch it, I watch a lot of the same episodes over and over again because I'll put it on as I'm going to bed. I'll get through an
Uh,
episode and then I fall asleep halfway through the second one. Then I go back and because, like, I sleep, I gotta go back and rewatch. But, like,
yeah,
I am making headway into season 1, and I love it. And so, like, I think we both felt this way because neither of us had watched Naruto or read Naruto prior to this. And so what they're doing really well is they're taking the two properties, they're blending them together, and they're making it so that if you've never read either, you can enjoy it. Now, chances are you're reading this because you've read one, if not both, of these properties before. But whereas you're like Nicholas and I, where we've only, primarily read Ninja Turtles and don't know much about Naruto, they do a good job of introducing the characters and just making it feel very cohesive. Now, after watching starting this season and getting to know the characters, it's just elevated for me, right? It doesn't change like how I feel about the comic or anything. It's just I'm now a little bit more familiar with the company that Naruto is, traveling with. His, who his,
nice.
his band of fighters and teammates or whatever you want to call them. So this issue was great because we get a little bit more backstory. We get a first glimpse at our villain, right? So to me, this is more airing like in the Ninja Turtle world, like in terms of the characters. But it's definitely got that manga feel aesthetically, to
Mhm.
the world with the art. So this has just been an absolute fun first few issues here.
Yeah, and I like on the note of the manga feel to it, I love the action and the art that we've gotten. And the
Mhm.
colors too, when we're getting some of these flashbacks too, the way that they're
Mm,
making the colors pop, it's just everything about it has been a really, really fun experience. And again, like very accessible for anybody who only knows TMNT or only knows Naruto. Very
yeah.
much so. All right, Joe, do you want to take us through these last few?
I will take us to his last few, and then you can cap us off here. So, from Distillery, we have Time Waits issue 3, The City Beneath Her Feet issue 2, and Life issue 4. From Titan, I love the title of this book. Huge Detective issue 4. It sounds very naughty. We never got Minky. So last week, the Titan books we were supposed to get, I think, have been delayed. I didn't get my Minky Woodcock
Ah,
last week, and Heat Seeker Combustion issue 3 is actually coming out this week. Um, from CEX. You're like, who? Huh? What? Well, that's the publisher that puts out 7 Years in Darkness. So
mm,
7 Years in Darkness, year 2, issue 4 comes out. It's been a little while that there is some pause between issues in that series, but that it's been an absolutely tremendous series. We have Trample issue 1. From Oni Press, we have Epitaphs from the Abyss issue 7. From Wake Entertainment, again, it might be another studio you're not familiar with. I sure as hell wasn't until we got 30,000 views on Instagram because this Dead Samurai issue 2. This is written by one of the members of System of a Down, John Domayan.
Look at you! Wow,
So
sunset my ass.
Pulled that out of my case, so let me tell you. But that was a really great first issue. I am very much looking forward to the second one. From Dynamite, we have Terminator issue 4, the Powerpuff Girls issue 7, and Bodacious Barbarella issue 3.
Real quick to go circle back into Distillery, The City Beneath Her Feet. You didn't check out the first issue of that, right?
No.
Okay, then I'm gonna take dibs on this one, because that is a Tynan book.
Okay, do it.
Yeah,
Do it.
yeah.
I because what was
It
the
was
book
weird.
that dropped? What was the book that dropped last week from Distillery?
Oh, I can't fucking remember. I feel
Yeah,
like
whatever. You loved it. You told me to read it.
Oh, it was the Snyder. It was the. Oh my god!
Snyder Jock.
I should have mentioned that. And catching up. It was You Won't Feel a Thing. Holy shit! That was so fucking good. Oh my god! And
So
go ahead.
I'm gonna pick it up, right? But I'm having a hard time doing dibs on these books just because, like, A, the comic shop that Newbury Comics doesn't always get them, and B, like, there is like they're only like generally 3 issues or so, and they don't come out regularly. So it's like calling dibs, and then by the time, you know what I mean? So
yep. I have no problem personally.
That's from a dibs perspective for me.
I understand, and that's fair. That's fine. So I'll cover it. Like that totally works with me. If something happens where you can't find You Won't Feel a Thing, then let me know, because it is absolutely a dibs worthy book. But Joe, this is also one of those instances where it's like, I'm a bad friend if I don't give you a chance.
Newbury Comics will have it. They have a good when they carry them, they usually get a bunch, and so I will when I head over there for New Comic Book Day. If not, I'll go. I think I create an account on Distillery. So
okay, nice. I mean, I also have this. I don't know when I'm going to see you next in person, but like this is so far up your alley. Like it's not even funny. It is outstanding. Anybody who's like contemplating reading it or whatever, like holy shit! I read it because it's Snyder and Jock. Of course, I'm going to check it out. And I didn't know what to expect necessarily going in. Oh my god! By the end of it, I was absolutely blown away. I was like, huh. I tell you, Joe is one to text me right after he reads a thing. That is not my style. I'm like usually one to the next one to the next thing, and then I go to the next thing when I'm done reading. Like I had to stop what I was doing and say, fucking read this book as soon as possible. Like that is how A, good it is, and B, up Joe's alley this thing is. So if you guys tend to lean more towards the books that Joe recommends, that should say something to you as well about You Won't Feel a Thing by Snyder and Jock. Moving over to Image and Skybound, we got Void Rivals issue 16, of course, from Skybound. Then we got King Spawn issue 41 from Ghost Machine. We got Hyde Street issue 3.
Did you read that one?
No, I didn't read it.
Did you read anything this week? Jesus.
I read.
Jesus.
I read Marvel stuff that we didn't talk about. There's plenty of other stuff that I read. How dare you?
Anyway, you read Marvel, noob.
You wouldn't let me. Let me talk about it. You didn't read Helverine. Oh, you're gonna shit on Helverine?
It's the one book I didn't read this week. Jesus Christ!
Wow, you still didn't read it. And I have other books that I read that you don't read. Anyways, how dare you? I'll remember that. See. It's funny. There's a lot of times that I take the high road, but you are starting to drag me down to the low road, my friend. This is the second time you've done something like that. You're asking for it. Don't wake up. You know what happens when you fucking poke the bear when it came to dibs.
Quick question, Nicholas. I see you're wearing some new headphones. Are those Lawrence? They look like a rose gold headphone.
I think I left my headphones in the car.
Yeah. Are those lady headphones?
I was like, dude. So not only did I have like a StreamYard issue before we talked with Kyle, I was like, I fucking left my headphones in the car. So I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, Laura, where are your headphones? So,
tell her those are a lovely rose gold set of headphones. She's got.
Yeah. That's fair. That's fair. I gotta wear that one 100%.
You are wearing it. Take us through the rest of these image books.
We got G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, issue 313. Rat City, issue 10. Creep Show, issue 5. Deadly Tales of Gunslinger Spawn, issue 2. The Tin Can Society, issue 5, which Joe has dibs on. Savage Dragon, issue 275. Null Hunter, issue 4. Hack Slash Body Bags issue 3, Drawing Blood issue 7, The Patchwork Girl of Oz issue 1, and then the book that from Image I was like, above all else, I need to make sure I read this thing. Speaking of books that Joe didn't fucking read, World Tree issue 12 by James Tynion IV and Fernando Blanco, which you did talk about this book at length on the show. This is one of the books I've said multiple times. I had serious FOMO when you were reading it. As soon as I saw it, like this looks outstanding, and obviously Tynion does an outstanding job. Issue 12, we've had a little break on World Tree. This whole issue is an origin story on a character that everybody cares about a ton. I am sure anybody who likes World Tree is going to inhale this thing. I also think if you haven't been reading World Tree, you should read the previous trades, but this is an interesting access point where I think you can actually read this and be okay. But there's been a lot of mystery about this character, and we're going to learn a lot more about this character over the course of this arc. And I love this first issue. I cannot wait to get more on this individual. And I'm being vague, but you guys you'll figure out pretty quickly who I'm talking about when you check this out. And if you've seen solicits, you can put the pieces together. But I think this has potential to peel back a lot of layers on the world as well that we're dealing with when it comes to World Tree.
Yeah, because it's been a while since issue 11 came out, and I think that was part of the reason why I didn't read issue 12. So I was like, the last arc was really, there was a lot going on. So like, I think for me, I wanted to go back. And I think my intention is to go back and reread the last arc and get right back into this one. Cause like, this is one of those books where I feel like I forget a lot of the details when time goes on.
So I totally get that. That's totally fair. And I'm not saying to not do it, but you do not need to. This is definitely like, they're turning back the clock and looking back at earlier days on an area that we haven't focused. Quite honestly, this is an example of Tynion's brilliance. Like we've been on pause for a bit. We've given you a lot. Let's focus on this one really cool fucking thing and look at it in detail and how we got to where we are with this character. I'm sure when we get to the arc after this, that maybe it'll behoove you to reread like arc 2, but I don't think for this arc you're necessarily going to have to, based on what we got.
Okay, that's good to know. That's good to know.
Yeah. All right. Good stuff. Again, reminder, we have audio dropping from our chat with Kyle Higgins. Again, there's video from that we're going to be putting out over on our YouTube page. So I guess we're taking a small page out of Kyle's book and just giving you guys everything everywhere all at once. But Joe, keep peepers popped, right? We never know. You never know. Make sure you subscribe to the audio channels because you never know when the next Friar Side Chat's going to be coming up, right?
Yeah. Make sure you keep reading, baby. Right? Don't forget that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.